Hi, I'm Ray, G4NSJ. Got my coffee, which is important. I want to talk about aerial tuning units. They shouldn't really be called ATUs because they don't tune the aerial. I'm not going to go into that. It's a matching unit. It should be AMU, aerial matching unit. It doesn't tune the aerial. What this does, it matches the feed impedance of the aerial to your transmitter, transceiver, receiver, which is normally 50 ohms. So this is a matching device, not a tuning unit. Now this is old, I've had this years. What is it? Lake Electronics. It's a TU1 MK2 and it says antenna tuning unit. This one, you've got the inductor, which is a tapped coil. You've got a capacitor, variable capacitor, and then a mode switch. There's a picture of the inside. I'm not sure what the mode switch did. I can't remember. It was years ago when I mucked about with this one. So what I did, you can see the mode switch there inside. Now look at this picture. I ripped the mode switch out and put another variable capacitor in. So it is now a Pi network. There's the basic circuit of the Pi network. Radio on the left, aerial on the right. The coil, it doesn't show a switch, but you have tappings on the coil with a switch, a rotary switch. Variable capacitor each end of the coil down to deck, to ground. So you've got inductor, capacitor, capacitor, variable capacitor. I forget why I did that. I didn't want the L match as it was. I wanted Pi, so I did that. Now this is where we're going to have a laugh. This is a balanced ATU. Except it's not. It's not balanced at all. It's a unbalanced ATU with a Balun. Okay? So the ATU itself isn't a balanced ATU. It's an ordinary ATU with a Balun bunged on the end of it. So you've got terminals here for balanced feeder, which go to the Balun, which is balanced to unbalanced, then to the ATU. So the ATU is not a symmetrical or balanced ATU, it's asymmetrical, unbalanced. This video, as with all my videos, is mainly aimed at newcomers to the hobby. I saw a forum the other day online somewhere and this chap said, I've just bought a second-hand, whatever it was, ATU. And he said, it's second-hand, I don't have the instruction manual with it. Can anyone tell me how to use it? He's not alone, obviously. It's not his fault. I'm not blaming him, whoever this chap was. It's not his fault. He's gone for his exam, he's got his licence and he's on HF amateur bands and he's bought an ATU and he doesn't know how to use it. We all started somewhere. This is what I'm always saying. We all had to start somewhere. Back in the day, in the 60s, if someone had given me that, I would have said, what's that do then? You know, how's that work? So the reason I'm banging on about balanced and unbalanced ATUs, a lot of manufacturers, I'm not mentioning names, a lot of manufacturers will say, look at this, our balanced ATU takes balanced line. It's 350 quid. What? How much? I got this for nothing. No, I didn't. I gave a chap 10 quid for it. Anyway, whatever. 350 quid. You know, 300. The money people spend on an ATU. You can make one yourself. Or, look at this. I bought this recently. There it is. It's a KW E-Zee match. Now this is brilliant. I love this. Look at the terminals on the back. There are two pairs, the black pair and the red pair. One for, what is it, 80 metres, 40 metres, and the other one for, was it 30, 20, 15, 10 and whatever. Now you've got to swap the balance line between the two sets of terminals, right? Just ignore that bottom earthing terminal for a minute where it earths one of the black pair on the left. I'll tell you about that in a minute. There's no switch inside the unit. There's the front panel again, no switch. Just the two controls on the front. It's a properly balanced ATU. There's no Balun in there. Look, there's a shot of inside. No Balun. It's a properly balanced ATU. AMU, I should say. Now that I bought online, 60 quid. I think it's 1970s it was made, 60 quid. You might think, well, that's a bit of old kit. What's the point of that? There's no meter on it. There's no switching on it. There's no nothing on it. Exactly. You don't want all this lossy stuff. You don't want a lossy Balun. You don't want switches and all that stuff. There it is in situ with its SWR meter. The dots, by the way, the red dots, the yellow dot, the green dots, I've got a separate ATU for each transceiver. You might think that's odd, but that's the way I like it. So the red dots are all for one sort of setup, yellow dots for the other, if you see what I mean. The Vectronics VCI ATU, you can see in that setup, there's a picture of it. That is a T network, not L, not pi, it's T. And it's a balanced ATU, except it's not, because if you have a look inside, at the back there is a Balun. So it's an unbalanced ATU with a Balun stuck on the end. Just out of interest, there's a basic circuit of a T network, so you can see why it's called T. The capacitors on the top, then the inductor going down at the bottom there, T network. There's the back of the ATU, as you can see, the balanced connections there, plus various other sockets and things. Quite a useful thing for various aerials, all switched on the front. And there's a dummy load built in, so it's it's a nice piece of equipment. It's just that I don't like the Balun. I've been talking about balanced lines so far. If you've got an NFED, have a look at this here. This is the back of the E-Zee match I talked about earlier. You can see there's an earth terminal, a ground terminal. So what you do is, you're not using balanced line, you've got an NFED unbalanced, so you take that to the terminal there on the left, and then the other terminal you ground. Okay, that way you can use an NFED wire with the E-Zee match ATU, depending on the band you're using. Of course, you use the black terminals or the red terminals. You earth the black or earth the red, and then use the spare black or red for your NFED wire. You probably noticed the Bellinglee coax socket on the back of that, which I have removed, and I fitted an SO239 socket there. I do not like Bellinglee coax sockets. Moving on to the next, I've got ATUs everywhere. Moving on to the next one. This is one of my favourites. SEM TranZmatch. SEM, made in Isle of Man. So rather a nice bit of kit. There it is. There's the inside of it. No Balun in sight, which is good. People say, oh, these melt. They do not melt. They do not melt. If the thing is way off tune, right, it's way out, and you've got your transmitter on 100 watts, right, and you stick a carrier into the thing, 100 watts, then it might flash over and stuff. If you do it properly, put the rig onto the lowest power, okay, well, first of all, adjust it for maximum noise on the receiver, so you know you're roughly there. Then put the rig on the lowest power, stick a carrier through it, and adjust for your 1-to-1 SWR. It won't melt. Then when you wind it up to 100 watts, it's fine. That's all I do. You might on 100 watts just need to just tweak slightly, but it's a lovely bit of kit. In fact, so lovely that I've had this one years. I've bought another one. I saw one on eBay, and it's arriving today. So when that turns up, I'll show you. It's rather interesting, the one that's arrived. They've got dummy load in. Can you see that there? There's a dummy load. It's just a load of 2-watt resistors in parallel, which is okay, I suppose, for a few watts. But this chap that I bought this one from, he's put in a 150 watt, 50 ohm resistor, and it's about that big. There it is, look. Have a look at that. This is the photo on the advert that he was selling it. But when it turns up, I'll show you, around it properly. But you see that little resistor, they reckon it's 150 watts. So I've been online and I've ordered one. I think it was £6 something. I've ordered one because it's, I don't know, I've never seen anything like it. Normally a dummy load, like in the KW107 ATU, it's about that long, big 50 ohm resistor. This thing's like that. It's obviously not carbon. It won't be wire wound, of course, because you can't use wire wound as a dummy load because it's inductive. But it's something that big. So what on earth is it made from? No doubt you'll email me now. ray@g4nsj.co.uk. Email me. I don't know what it's made from. But anyway, apparently it'll take 150 watts. So yeah, I'm just waiting for the other one to arrive, then we'll have a look at that. And here it is. It's arrived. First thing I notice is the switch here, direct tuner and load, and then there's another position. Oh, hang on. Oh, I see. Looks like someone's replaced the switch. It's a kind of what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. It's a 12 position switch. So I don't think that's original. What I did, just out of interest, was connect this up to my transmitter with this set to load, okay, to see how hot that got there, where that resistor, the 150 watt 50 ohm resistor is there, bolted to the back panel. 20 watts, that got extremely hot within, I don't know, 15-20 seconds, extremely hot. So I've got to look into these resistors. I really don't understand it. 150 watt resistor, if it is, it must be bolted to a huge heatsink or water cooled or something, I don't know. There it is with the lid off, very clean inside. That switch looks original. Perhaps the stop has, you can set the stop, can't you, on some rotary switches for how many positions you want. I mean, it's not a problem. It looks really nice inside, really clean. The switch on the front there was for the, what is it, the E-Zee tune or something. I've got one on my other TranZmatch. Someone's taken the switch and the board out. I don't use it on that one. It's a waste of time, E-Zee tune. All you do is switch your transceiver on say on 80 meters, just put it on a signal or on a quiet spot where you've just got noise, tune this up for maximum noise on the receiver. You don't need the E-Zee tune business. It says in the manual here, here we are, 15 to 5,000 ohms, 1,000 watts into 50 ohms. I don't think I'd want to put a kilowatt into that. If it's, I suppose, 50 ohms in, 50 out, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what was I going to say about it? Oh yes, back in the, this is 1970s. Back in the 70s, people had homebrew rigs, AM rigs that they built themselves, and sideband, of course, and harmonics, things like that were a problem. This, being a so-called Z match, it is a bandpass filter. Okay, so anything higher or lower in frequency, either side of where you're tuned to, is suppressed or attenuated, and harmonics are attenuated. Of course, these days with modern rigs, it's all done in the rig, but it's just an interesting point that this is actually a bandpass filter. Oh, by the way, the SWR on the dummy load, although it got very hot on 20 watts there, I must look into that. The SWR was about 1.2 to 1. So that's not too bad, 1.2 to 1 for a dummy load, because you've got all of the wiring and stuff, so it's not like the dummy load should be right on the end of the coax, you know, like that one. I just found that. So you've got your dummy load and your 259 plug there. This one, what is it, 25 watts. That's gone open circuit. I only had it about a year and it went open circuit. I've only ever used it on low power. So perhaps I ought to put one of those resistors in there. No, that won't do, will it? That's not a good enough heatsink for 150 watts. The SEM Z, or TranZmatch, as they call it. A kilowatt, yeah, right. By the way, these coils are what are called link coupled. It's a coil within a coil, rather like a transformer. There's a close-up. The best I could do with the close-up anyway. That's link coupled, that's what that's known as, just in case you come across that term anywhere. I've been talking about balanced, Eric, you know, the ladder line. Balanced line like that. This is 300, you can get 450. You get 600 ohm if it's, if you open it up, put spacers in it. Most people use this sort of stuff, or the slightly wider 450 ohm. That is the two balanced ends, okay, to go on your terminals. You might not have a doublet or any form of balanced aerial. A lot of people just have a piece of wire down the garden, out the window, wherever. So what sort of ATU? If you could get hold of a couple of bits like this, look at this. I made this decades ago. It's a coil. I forget where I got the bits from. I found the coil somewhere. and a variable capacitor. There's the circuit diagram of it. It's called an L match. That wiggly line with a little arrow on the end going to the coil, that's the crocodile clip. Have a look at the picture again. You see that crocodile clip? You just move that back and forth along the coil. No switches. It's a very basic L match. So that will match, for example, an L inverted L aerial. Just a piece of wire. Does anything like that. It'll match it nicely. Use your SWR meter, of course, with it. As with the E-Zee match and the SEM ATU, it doesn't have an SWR meter built in. I like that separately. So use your SWR meter. Adjust your crocodile clip depending on the band you're on. What I used to do was put little labels like 80 meters, 40 meters, so I knew where the croc clip should go. Then adjust the capacitor for 1:1 SWR. Great, dead simple. You can make it yourself. This is a Capco ATU. I forget where I got it. I think I bought it from a friend of mine. It's been heavily got at. You see on the front there's a hole. It's been got at. There's a picture of the inside of it. There were some relays in there that seem to be missing. I don't know where they've gone. Look at the size of the components in there. Look at that beautiful roller coaster. Isn't that nice? Look at the variable capacitors. This is a serious bit of kit. But there is one letdown. Look at the back of it over there on the right. Bottom right on the picture. There's a Balun. So you've got the two terminals on the back that go straight into a Balun. It's not a balanced ATU. What a shame. What a beautiful bit of kit with the roller coaster there. Unfortunately, the counter, with the crank that you turn the roller coaster, it all works, but the counter's gone. Someone's taken that away. Why? Why take the counter away? The relays at the back, I don't know what they did. They've gone. But that is a nice ATU. That works so well on top band, right down to 160 meters, 1.8 to 2 megs. It also works down into medium wave. No, I mean, not that I've tested it, obviously. Someone told me that. It does, though. It works down on medium wave. You go down to 1 meg and it's still working beautifully. Very nice bit of kit, but ruined, in my opinion anyway, by sticking a Balun in the back of it. I think I'm running out of ATUs to show you, but I've got to show you this last one. This is a variometer. Do you remember the old 19 set? Some of you remember the 19 set from the good old days. Had a variometer with it. Basically, a variometer is a coil within a coil. So you've got the outer coil and the inner coil revolves within the outer. Have a look at this photo, or a couple of photos. I don't know where I got this from. I've had this for years. I believe it was used on a ship. It's Marconi. It was in a big, huge steel cabinet, which was all battered and wrecked, so I took it out of the cabinet. I believe it was a variometer used on a ship. Basically what it does, there's no capacitors or anything like that, so you've got the circuit. I haven't got a circuit. The circuit comes in here, big coil like that, goes to the little coil like that, and then out. So there's one in and one out. And the big coil around the little coil does that sort of thing and varies the inductance. And it works really well on an end-fed wire. I've tried it on top band. It's fantastic. It's rather huge. I don't know, it'll probably take a kilowatt or more. I've just dug it out. There it is. Look, you see that coil in there? There's the big outer coil. And there's the inner coil, which revolves like that. Varies the inductance. Look at that. Amazing piece of kit. That's really nice. I like that. Massive thing. Yeah, nice bit of kit. Here's another ATU. This, I think this was a homebrew. I don't know where I got it. I don't know where I got this stuff. It was all over decades. So there's a photo of the front of it. Now what it is, it's a Pi network, but the switch on the front is wired so you can go from Pi to L match to, what else was it, to something else, to series. Put the coil and the capacitor in series, put them in parallel. You can do all sorts with the switch on the front. So you can match all sorts of things with this. There's a circuit, well, not a circuit diagram. This is how I wired the switch on the front. So you can have Pi, L, parallel or series, all chosen by the switch on the front there, which is quite useful. I don't know why I did all that. When I got it, it was completely bodged. There was, I don't know what people had done, someone had done to it, but so that's what I did. I have used it on the various different switch settings, and it will match things. As you probably realise by now, I've got a thing about ATUs. I love them. I just love ATUs. I collect them. No, I don't collect them, but you know, it's a fascinating thing. There are so many different types. You can get some really, what is it? Is it oh, who was it made the matchbox in America? Johnson, was it? The Johnson matchbox. The ATUs I've been talking about, the SEM Isle of Man, the KW E-Zee match, that's made in Britain, of course, made in England or wherever. Dartford, was it, up in somewhere near Kent? They're not available around the world. I was reading a forum the other day, an American thing, and they were saying these are good. The E-Zee match is good. The KW107, I believe the KW109 was a kilowatt version of the 107, but they're all British and they didn't really go around the world, and they're becoming rare. That's another reason I collect them. They're becoming rare. Apart from the variometer, which I put down there now, and that homebrew thing I've just showed you, I do use them. I use them all. I'm surrounded by ATUs. Here's another, just before I go, here's another little roller coaster and variable capacitor L-match ATU. I stuck at the bottom of a 40-foot pole. You can see it there on a bit of wood. I did eventually put it into a Tupperware, a plastic box, and waterproof it, because that's the best way. If you've got a vertical, what did I use it on? 40 and whatever I used it on, I can't remember. But it worked beautifully. The only trouble is you've got to go down the garden and adjust the roller coaster and the variable capacitor, of course. But that worked really well. Again, what did it cost? I got the bits out of my junk box. So anything like that in your junk box, make use of it. I think we'll end up on this one last ATU. There it is. It's a CB matching unit. It's pi. There's the coil between the two sockets on the back. The two variable capacitors. Only low power stuff. It belongs to a friend of mine. He uses it. He's got a 5/8 vertical antenna, which is great on 28 to 29 megs. When you go above 29 megs, the SWR rises. So just to keep the radio happy, he just gives this little ATU a twiddle and gets the SWR down to 1:1. So we'll end up on that little one. I don't think I've got any more. Oh yes, I have got another ATU. Yaesu FRT 7700 goes with the Yaesu FRG7 receiver. We won't go into that one. It's a pre-selector rather than an ATU. It's a sort of pre-selector for receive only. On that note, I am going to go and install this, put the lid back on, install it over my transmitting side over there, and I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the video useful. Do let me know, ray@G4NSJ.co.uk, and if I've made any mistakes or given you any duff information, I'm sure you'll tell me. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye for now.